Hello, I'm Jeff Siegel, and welcome to our Thursday SantaAnita.com seminar for the races at Santa Anita. 8-race program today as we kick off another week of racing at the Great Race Place. Start off with a maiden claimer going a distance to ground in the first race, and I guess the two main contenders here would be number 3, Captain Bo, and number 6, Cantana. I'm obviously not that trustworthy of either one. Whenever you're dealing with a older maiden claiming field, you have to figure that you're not backing the most generous of runners. And Captain Bo, who doesn't really have a whole lot of early speed, but in a race with very little, might find himself in a good spot. That's why he's 9 to 5 on the morning line. And Cantona, who's got figures that would win, but he's a 14-race maiden, so, who knows. So I'm going to pass the first race. Not a real good play for me, and maybe we have some better opportunities later on in the program. So no play in the first. Second race, pretty good allowance race going 6 furlongs. I'm going for the inside 2 horses here, numbers 1 and 2. Number 1 is Streakin Mohican, and number 2 is Bango. Now, Streakin Mohican's got the benefit of recency here. He's coming off a real sharp win. Very good claim, I think, by Doug O'Neill for $40,000. Streakin Mohican is drawn inside. He's got good speed. He's genuine and consistent and coming back to train well since his race. So I've got to think that Streakin Mohican's going to fire. He is 8 to 5 in the morning line in a 5-horse field. Bango is making his first start off a long layoff, coming back for Corey Owens. This was a pretty good 3-year-old last year. He was beaten the neck in the Delta Jackpot as a 2-year-old, and then ran 4th in both the Rebel and the Arkansas Derby. Now you might think, okay, is he just in here for the exercise? Is he just getting the rust off going 3/4 of a mile? But he can run well fresh and he can sprint, and he's trained well. So don't dismiss Bango. He could be very dangerous here. So let's use them both if you're playing rolling exotics. Number 1, Streakin Mohican, and number 2, Bango. Third race is a 6.5 down the hill maiden race for older horses, and I could see any one of 3 winning this race. In looking at number 1, Brutally Handsome, he's not, he doesn't have the greatest pattern in the world. We see him and he stops and he turns out, and we have now not seen him since December now, so he may have his issues. But on Figs, he's right there, and he did run very well on the grass at Hollywood. So use number 1, Brutally Handsome. Number 6, Reality Ride is an interesting horse. Beat in the neck last time out. First off the claim in straight maiden race for Doug O'Neill, and if he moves forward at all in just his 3rd career start, then Reality Ride is right there with these. And then Squad is making his comeback. We haven't seen him since last July, but he showed some ability for Tom Proctor last year, and actually Tim Yakteen had him. Now Proctor's got him, but he showed some ability last year. He's coming back and training well, and really Squad can fire, and he's right there with these as well off his best race. So any one of those 3 could win. Brutally Handsome, Reality Ride, and Squad. Gun to my head, if I had to pick one of the 3, I'd probably go with Reality Ride, but I would use all 3 in any rolling exotic you may want to play, including, of course, the pick 6. Fourth race, claiming event, 6.5, and inside 2 horses I'm going to concentrate on. Number 1, Brenthurst, and number 2, Bestdressed. So if you're playing an exacta box, you can use the inside 2 numbers 1 and 2. Brenthurst, to me, is very solid. He is moving up a level, but I like the way he can sit back and finish, and going 6.5, that's a good distance for him, and Pedroza should have him settled behind the leaders and then ready to pounce. So number 1, Brenthurst is tough, and of course number 2, Bestdressed, the old class horse, late running sprinter in the Sadler barn, and he should be running on strongly late under Rosario. So in a small field, I think the closers will have their chance, and both these 2 horses have the ability to win a race like this. So let's go 1 and 2, Brenthurst and Bestdressed, in what looks to be a rather moderate race for the level. Fifth race, a maiden claiming a race. This is a maiden 20, so this is the bottom here on this circuit. And the 2 that I'm looking at, numbers 1 and 5. Number 1 is Member of the Tribe, and number 5 is Clocker Moment. So you can use those 2 horses in your rolling exotics and an exacta box if you'd like. Member of the Tribe came off a layoff, ran very well for Vladimir Serin, and that was a similar maiden 20, and if he can build on that, he's right there, right back, switching a major switch to Patrick Valenzuela. So Member of the Tribe looks all cranked up and ready to show his best today, the one to beat. Clocker Moment is a horse that is dropping from maiden 40 to maiden 20. I think this is a realistic level for this San Luis Rey Downs-based gelding, and at this bottom level, I think Clocker Moment should be tough. He doesn't have any early speed. He'll be running on late, and I think he can pick up the pieces and maybe complete the exacta, but I'll use him. But member of the tribe, the number 1 horse, is certainly my top selection. So let's go 1 and 5 in that order, and you can use them both in your rolling exotics. 6th race, claiming event, non-winners of 2 in for $25,000. We'll go 2 deep here. The numbers 4 and 5 on your program look good. Number 4 is The Hunt Is On. Number 5 is Tropical Heat. Now, neither one are trustworthy. The Hunt Is On looks good. He's 1 for 27. 1 for 21, and he's a horse that runs second and third a lot. So I don't know whether you can really trust him to win, and he doesn't have a whole lot of speed, but he's coming around. He's dropping to a realistic level. He's coming out of some pretty tough allowance races, and I think you're going to see that The Hunt Is On is going to appreciate this spot. The Hollendorfer Golden Gate Schiffer gets Rosario, and this is his league right here. So The Hunt Is On. I like, along with Tropical Heat. Bejarano rides him. He's in good form, comes off a solid race at the level on this track. Should fire a similar shot today, and the buyer number that he earned the last time is good enough to win at this level. So Tropical Heat, certainly the one to beat. The Hunt Is On from behind. 4, 5, 5, 4 in your exacta box. We'll use them both in our rolling exotics. The Julio Canani train number 4, Coo Cachoo, looks good for me in the 7th race. This is a first level allowance optional claimer, and taken for $20,000 last time out. Coo Cachoo was a winner, a very sharp winner on the front end that day, claimed by Julio, who runs them back for 40. Now Julio doesn't usually run them over their heads, and this is a very aggressive move, and one that tells me that Coo Cachoo is really doing well and that Julio likes him. Rosario riding him back, and the pace scenario looks good. There's not a lot of speed in the race, and Coo Cachoo, who is primarily a front runner, should not have a whole lot of difficulty establishing the pace again. And despite the raise in class, I think he can come right back and score. He's 5-2 in the morning line, so let's go with Coo Cachoo as a single and straight play in today's 7th race. That's number 4, Coo Cachoo. 8th and final, 7 furlong claiming event. Pretty interesting race here. 3 horses should be used if you're playing rolling exotics. They are numbers 2, 6, and 9. Number 2 is Concerto's Thunder. Number 6 is Lee's Good Looking Gray. And number 9 is Streets of Heaven. So the 2, 6, 9 exacta or trifecta box looks very solid. Number 2, Concerto's Thunder, puts blinkers on. Now he doesn't win, let's face it. He's 2 for 36. But he runs second and third a lot, so he's the kind of horse that you might want to play underneath in your exotics. I like the back up and trip, the turn back and trip, and the drop in class for Mike Pipey. So with Talamo taking over, I think Concerto's Thunder is going to run well here. He may not win, but he's going to probably be in the thick of things. The horse I actually like, number 6, Lee's Good Looking Gray. I liked his win 2 races back. Last time out he got out-footed. But I think at this level, dropping in for 10, and in a race that doesn't have a lot of speed, going 7/8, Lee's Good Looking Gray seems most comfortable. It can lay fairly close to a slow pace. That's the kind of trip he's going to get here under Marty Garcia. So let's use number 6, Lee's Good Looking Gray. I think he's going to fire big. And then number 9, Streets of Heaven. He's also a route to sprint play, even though he just ran well going 9 furlongs. 7/8 is a good distance. I think if you look at his one-turn races, you'll see that Streets of Heaven is a very consistent gelding, and Pedroza takes him and should have him right in the thick of things, comfortably placed. So number 9, Streets of Heaven, obviously a major player here as well. So 2, 6, and 9, preference to number 6, Lee's Good Looking Gray, but I will use all 3 in any rolling exotics that I might be playing, and I think you should do the same as well. So that wraps it up for our Thursday program. Best of luck today at Santa Anita, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow right here on SantaAnita.com.